And so we would have, after each game, after each baseball game, it would be Star Crunch, and you get like an all sport. You get the red all sport, or you could get the orange all sport, or you get the lemon lime, looks like, greenish ghoul or some shit.
Roll me, Mac.
You're back in the day we. All right. I was born, like Charlemagne says, in 1985. So back in the day, my back in the day is we would listen to tapes. We literally listened to tapes until tapes wore out. And you knew the tape wore out when you heard like the Chipmunks version of the song that you were trying to listen to, if they were the Chipmunks. But we would do that playing Nintendo. It would be Mario Brothers 1, 2, Mario Brothers 2, Mario Brothers 3, Mike Tyson Punch-Out, RC Pro-Am, Metroid, Paperboy, Tecmo Super Bowl, Rad Racer. Me and my mom used to play that along with Anticipation. Back in the day, we played outside from sun up, really to sundown, honestly. Where we lived in Maryland, I would get up in the morning and shower, brush teeth, all that shit. And then I would get on my bike and I would ride outside and meet up with the neighborhood kids. Now, our days went through a lot of things. It could go from as little as going through the woods, trying to create adventures. It could be playing football in the little midfield that we had between our apartments. This is in Pax River. So 92 to 95 time frame. And we would talk to girls, but not like that older boy type shit. It was more like Little Rascals type talking to girls shit. Like, oh, I think he's cute. Okay, whatever. That type of thing. And then just being shy. That's another thing too. Being very, very shy. Like, that girl likes you. She does. And it just a very, very shy boy. At heart, right? Just a very, very shy boy. We would play baseball. Of course, we would play video games, depending on at whose house we would be at. This time is like around, it is 92, 95. This is Super Nintendo, eventually going into the Sega phase. So back in the day, we literally would just play video games. That was I mean, if you had the hottest video game, we was at your house all day long, sun up to sundown. And really, that's what we would do. Back in the day, we would do Little League basketball and Little League baseball. And when we did like T-ball and stuff, you know, you would have your, whoever parent it was that week would be responsible for bringing in like Little Debbie snacks. And we would have, I think the parents came together and decided that we were going to have the same damn snack every week, because all we had was Star Crunch, right? It was Star Crunch, and it would be a Gatorade, or no, it wasn't even Gatorade at the time. It was All Sport. It was All Sport, like drinks or whatever. They literally with Gatorade, but they called it All Sport. And so we would have, after each baseball game, it would be Star Crunch, and you get like an All Sport. You get the red All Sport, or you could get the orange All Sport, or you get the lemon lime, looks like, you know, greenish ghoul or some shit. But back in the day, we would watch the same movies all summer long at my grandma's house. I don't even watch Friday anymore because we just burned the shit out. And, you know, my older cousins, they were like in high school. So this is like their time. And, you know, when you little cuz, you want to do whatever big cuz does. And I wanted to know all the lines to Friday. So, I mean, I knew that shit back and forth. And we watched Friday, we would watch Menace to Society. We would watch Beverly Hills Cop 3. We would watch Above the Rim. I mean, that's what we would do. My pops used to make these tapes with all these movies on it. And I would take them to my grandma's house and hold myself accountable. Don't get me wrong, I've left some stuff there before, and Pop was kind of pissed about it. But like we would watch it over and over and over again. Like Above the Rim. Yeah, we watched Above the Rim a lot. We watched it a lot. And we also watched music videos a lot. And I mean a lot. There was a time where my cousin was infatuated with Maya. And we would watch this video for Moving On, the remix with Silk the Shocker. And we must have played that bitch on repeat, like I don't know how many times. But that, I mean, back in the day, that's what we did. I mean, we would watch music videos, burn them, we would record them like crazy. I caught on, I mean, I pretty much picked up that from him at an earlier age. And then by the time I became a teenager, I started to record music videos just so I could, you know, just have that shit playing while you're like ironing clothes to go to school or what have you. Just being in the room, just watching them and just picking up the latest fashion. But we would just watch them over and over. And we were big R&B heads. Like, don't get me wrong, hip hop was played. Like if it was a good club record, it would get played. Like, we must have watched More Money, More Problems, I don't know how many times. Like the video, they playing golf. Diddy, you know, hits the cup. And now we learned he was hitting other cups, apparently. But like Mace and Diddy is in the video, shiny suits and the thing, and like in the tunnel. They got Kelly Price in like a little TV because they didn't want the big girl in the video. That's how they used to do big girls on music videos. But we would watch, like I said, I would rap Mace's part a lot. Now, who's hot, who not? Like, I would run that shit out, and we would both do Biggie's verse. Then another music video we used to watch a lot was me, because I was a big Will Smith fan, was Men in Black. Men in Black, I ran that bitch into the ground. The little dance they do in the video, let me see you just bounce with me, just bounce with me. Let me see you take a walk with me, And I played that bitch out. I literally played that shit out. And because he was safe enough to play in the house for my mother, who was in the church. And back in the day, we would meet at, what would we do? We would literally play basketball all day long. we meet over we'll meet over Darius' house, right? In Compton Court, when we all lived in Burbage Grant and Suffolk. We would meet over there at his house, talk a little bit, probably talk about some girls we were all talking to, or somebody, one of us who was popular, we're talking to this particular girl, and the rest of us is like, okay, cool, whatever, like literally like watching The Sandlot with a bunch of black boys, and one white boy, Josh. Josh was with us too. What up, Josh? If you ever see this, man. But we would play basketball from sunup, roughly, to sundown, and it started to become a territorial thing. We would have folks from the rival neighborhood, College Square, come by to play ball, and they had a few of them, and so we would like do them versus us. Then it became a Burbage Lake versus like a Scottsville thing, and of course then like Glen Rose and all our different neighborhoods, like whoever played basketball, we would all try to meet up. I can tell you this, we didn't have any cell phones. We didn't get cell phones until like high school. So for that point, our parents literally trusted that we were in a safe space. They literally trusted that we were safe, and you better have your ass home before that street light comes on. So I don't know how many times I've tried to beat the light after the light's already on, and riding home on a 20 speed bike, Red Rover, as Gus used to call it, Big Red or whatever. I forget what I used to call her. But yeah, that's what we would do. We just ride out, and like I said, there was no cell phones, so we literally, you're literally trusting that your kid is in a safe space. So we would tell them where we're going, but then you would make up your own route of where you'd be. You're like, all right, Mom, I'm going out. All right, be home. We eating dinner at 6. Have your ass here. Well, my mom she didn't curse. But have be home by 6. And so that's what we would do. We would literally be outside all day long. If you got a girl's number, you would not talk to her until probably like 7 that night. And depending on how nice her mother was, will determine how she told you to get off her damn phone. And I remember I had a girlfriend towards the end. I was getting a girlfriend towards the end of 8th grade. And so I called, me and her talking, me and this girl talking about nothing, I'm sure. I really don't remember particularly what we were saying to each other. But later that night, like we were talking for a little bit, her mom had just got home from work, and I think I was trying to call her back to say goodnight or whatever, I miss you, whatever dumb kitty shit we was trying to do. Like we was boo loving. And her mom answers the phone. And she let me have it, right? She really did let me have it. And she was like, don't call my house this late no more. All right, pretty much. But then we would go, and then I think I actually met her mom. You know how nerve-wracking that could be for already disrespected this girl's rules, trying to be a rebel at heart, and you disrespected this girl's mom's rules on the phone, and now you gotta meet her. But she was like, yeah, just cool, just don't call late, baby. Typical parent, black parent shit. But back in the day, we didn't have cell phones, and we lived in the present moment a hell of a lot more than we do right now. We didn't have anything to compare to. The only thing we knew was life where we lived. We didn't know about what people were doing in Idaho, California, Miami, any of the shit we're able to see at a moment's notice on the internet. We lived where we were, and we were definitely a lot grateful. Don't get me wrong, we still played a comparison game when we went to school and saw somebody with like a Tommy Hilfiger jacket or a First Down bubble coat or Jabot jeans or Butters wore Timberlands, the Air Max 95s or the 98s and a pair of DCs You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like, it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be as challenging as I imagine it is for kids today, because you can look up shit so rapidly at your, at your fingertips. But I mean, back in the day, it was priceless. It was timeless. It was a different world that we lived in, and just really grateful for those days. And the fact that I can even remember that shit like the movie, you know what I mean? But that's what I would say is my back in the day. On the scale of an existential crisis to living the dream, how's life going? I say life is going very promising right now for me. Fair share of challenging moments, from like a family standpoint, and for those that know that are close to me, understand what that means, But overall, like moving towards the dream, I'd say it's going pretty well. Just staying with it. Don't get me wrong. There's a few distractions that tend to come up, but it's like managing your emotions, learning to discipline yourself so that you can go after your goals. Because life will give you all the tools you need to destroy yourself or build yourself up, and it's being mindful of when to use those things, how to use those things. Well, I'd say life is going pretty well in the sense of that goes. A few things I'm currently working on that'll come to the surface soon enough. But right now, things are going, I think things are going pretty well. Just getting better at talking in front of the camera, getting better at responding to the camera, learning public speaking a hell of a lot more, thanks to work too. Every Wednesday and Thursday we teach. So it's helpful to be in front of a lot of people and not feel that, like there's no nervousness that comes in front of speaking in front of people, at least not for me. And I'm just used to it. But just keeping your mind on where you're headed is very, very key. There are days where I can get caught up in my own head. Me and my ego can play a dirty game, back and forth, and then something will come to remind me of my why. And it's best to pay attention. I highly recommend paying attention when you get reminded of your why, and then disciplining yourself to kind of ease yourself back so that you can get in the groove of doing things that put you on this path that you're on for success. And I like I said, I think it's been good. It's been really good. I've enjoyed the challenges that have come, as far as the goals that have been achieved already, that I started when I left home in Miami to venture out to Georgia and now here to Jax. It's been, I believe it's going pretty well. Discipline, especially with diet, that can be challenging too. But for the most part, I'm staying pretty good with it. Life is moving in a way that I feel something is near. I feel something's coming very soon as far as this journey goes, an opportunity of some sort. So just being prepared for when that opportunity comes to the best of my ability. Artwork, learning how to operate a workaround for like green screen stuff, because there used to be, like, you could see when you look at the artwork, if you go back and look at some of the artwork from some of the previous episodes, you can kind of like see the fold in the green screen. And I've figured out a way to use green screen like when I do the artwork, but now I can kind of screenshot it and then change the background to this green thing, like a green background flat, so that I can have a crisp artwork for each episode that comes out. So very grateful for that. Just learning. And some other ideas for podcasting. Obviously, you guys have seen, those who follow know about like the quickies that I'll put out, which are like similar to the quickies that I'll do between the second topic and the third topic, but sometimes they can go from 3 minutes. I think the longest one is 20 minutes. I think that was the one where I talked about marriage. But I find them to be very refreshing, very beneficial, healing, just like all this stuff is. This literally is my therapy. And I enjoy being able to talk with my shrink, which is the audience, so like it's fun for me. It's uncomfortable, and it's fun because there are times where I am very vulnerable about things that don't necessarily put me in the best light, because I just don't give a fuck. I think it's healing to know that how human an individual is. And I believe I try to do my damnness to put that out there. Like if I find my ego getting too much inside my head, I was like, oh, okay, so you need to let that out. So I will hold myself accountable and throw myself under the bus, put myself out there to kind of just humble yourself, and just so you can see what you sound like, what your ego has you thinking inside your mind. But overall, yeah, it's going pretty well in the sense of going towards the goals and the journeys and just putting things together, staying out the way, budgeting money, pretty well, which I'm happy for. I'm just working on some other things too. And so, you don't want to announce your moves, but just, yeah, definitely working on things, staying ambitious and staying with your eyes on the prize too. Get with your support system when time permits, but definitely working on goals is the number one priority for sure. So life is going pretty well, or as I like to say, I'm amazing. Rather live without sex or music? This is an evil question, but the short answer is I would rather live without sex. As far as sex with somebody else, so maybe I'm bending the rules, but I'd have to jerk to like Sade or some shit, like I wouldn't be solely with that. Like as far as intercourse with with a woman, and only women for that matter, but I wouldn't be. Yeah, I wouldn't go fully without it. Like there's going to be some form of ejaculation that has to go down, and I lived off of jerking for a pretty long time during my heavy addiction years. So there's a survival mechanism way of doing so. But the music though, I am far too connected. I used to have an attachment to my music, but I'm just gonna say that I'm connected to music. And there's nothing like music to me. Music shifts moods. And like when I'm trying to concentrate, spawn classical. When I'm going through some shit, some R&B, some rock. When I am in the gym, it's a plethora of things, but a lot of scores, a lot of instrumentals and things. And when I am vibing, like if I'm with my brothers, when we're together, we tend to listen to hip hop and some R&B. So there's that, and we're able, because it's just a time frame when we were all together, and we reminisce about things, and we talk about different times that we share with these hits that we're listening to, and we can never be too mature to not have a conversation about how Kanye is not the same Kanye that we knew initially. But I would have to sacrifice that. I don't know if I could live without music. I know I could live without sex. I wouldn't want to, but I know I couldn't. I know I could live without. I could live without sex, but I don't want to. And I probably could live without music, but for the sake of this question, I'm willing to sacrifice sex for the sake of every time I've heard Human Nature, every time I've listened to Michael Jackson records, anytime I've listened to Sade, anytime I've listened to Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, any score, like any composer, anytime I've listened to Outkast, Funk, Parliament, all of these, I'm too connected to music to really give that shit up. So between the two, would I rather live without sex or music, I would have to give up sex. Is your need for revenge greater than your need for peace? I believe that my wounded inner child has some unfinished business that I want to, depending on who the person is, I want to end that shit. I require many ego deaths when it comes, depending on who the person is. But I really do just appreciate peace. Like the thought of just being left alone. Like being mature enough that it's not important for you to give your side of the story. Just let that person believe what they want to believe about you, and essentially walk away with peace. Because if you feel the energy off this person and they continuously do things to provoke you, it's up to you to be, you can respond with your ego and try to defend yourself, or you can be sure with yourself and just move forward. And that's the option that I've been certainly working on. There are times where I want to respond to shit, and then it's like, it's not important. My version of the story is not important. You're gonna believe what you want to believe, and you got to respect the person's perspective, because that's merely what it is. It's not the whole truth. It's their perspective, and that's what it looks like from their world. So much respect to that. But it's catching yourself, things from the past, and wanting to let go of that too, because it's weighing you down, like, so you can fly. Let go of the past so that you can fly. It's not important. It doesn't do you any justice. You keep reliving the emotions when you think about it, but it's not important no more. Where you are in life is in a positive space, and you've outgrown that shit, and you don't really have to respond to those things anymore. Yeah, at one point in time you needed that validation, but now you don't. You've outgrown it. You've outgrown the need to defend yourself against people who don't even value you. It's pointless. Unnecessary conflict. And living by the Stoic principles of, it's either the truth or it's nonsense. And if it's true, then why am I upset? And if it's nonsense, why the fuck am I upset? And just honing into that. Because some people are in pain, and when people are in pain, they want to take you down with them. They want to project their insecurities. They want to project their pain onto you. And you got to do what Jack should have done to Rose ass and let that bitch sink, because I'm not going down with you. It's too cold out here, number one. But definitely, you do have to let, on some serious shit, you do have to let go of what's weighing you down so that you can fly. When you get to a certain altitude, as Tyler Perry brilliantly stated in his, I think it was a TBN promote, he was speaking at a church, and he was talking about once you get to a certain altitude, there is a weight limit, and everybody's not going to be able to go with you to that next level. And that's something that you're going to have to accept. People you've known for some time, when you try to better yourself, you're going to find out who really is for you and who really just likes that you serve them, you know? And there's a lot of people in your life. I don't say a lot of people. There's some people in your life that like the role that you play in their life, in a sense of a serviceman, someone they can go to. But when it comes time for you to benefit yourself, now they can see, they feel like some of them can feel like they're losing you. And they'll do whatever they can to keep you where you are so that you're not doing better than them. There's many people that's going to come in your life that are going to be envious of the things you're working on when you decide to work on things different from what the majority is doing. That's one thing to learn to adjust with. I don't care if it means you're not going to the club anymore, if it means you're going to work on a business, if you're going to stop drinking, if you're going to stop smoking, if you're going to try to find love, if you're going to try to find a wife or a husband. The people that benefited from from your participation in whatever was going on, it's throwing them off. And you might not see them as much. And that's okay. You'll be fine. No attachment. And just appreciate the times that you were able to spend with them. But remember that you have a different calling than what life has for them. And that's nothing personal, it's just the way that it is. You have a calling, so you have to move according to your calling. When you've been anointed by God in his universe or her universe, it is highly recommended that you do what's best for you. Truly. And your spirit, when you get aligned with the universe, you're going to feel something in your spirit. Your spirit is just going to be irritated when you get around certain energy that no longer serves you. And you're just like, I'm not able to do this anymore. I've done this game. I've played this game before. And I know how it ends. And this person clearly hasn't grown. But I am. And I don't want to leave them, but I also don't want to stay here. So it requires you to really work on yourself. And what does that have to do with revenge and peace? I find peace in working on oneself and not having to follow the crowd and doing something that benefits me. Because what I'm working towards is going to benefit myself, thus many people that I value. I truly do believe that. I believe that I'm working towards something that's going to benefit the masses, because that's the point of the whole thing, being rewarded for who you based on the service that you give to the universe. The more service you give, the more the universe will reward you. And more than just from a financial standpoint, but a spiritual standpoint, and showing that you're human too. So Yeah, I don't want revenge. Personally, I think revenge hits in seconds and then just calming yourself down. So I'd rather have peace. I would really rather have just my own peace and just, I'd rather be alone than being like, I say all the time, I'd rather be alone than being like something chaotic or something that's draining and something's going to pull you down, avoiding the unhappy and the unlucky. Because there are a lot of people that are unhappy with themselves and they really want to take you down with them. So I'd rather have peace. You can have it. You can talk about me all you want. Your opinion of me is none of my business. It really isn't. I want to become something better than what I've done for myself. Now I love myself where I am. Don't get me wrong, but there's room for improvement. So just being able to work at yourself on a day-to-day basis, every day learn something new. It enables your brain to stay working, to enhance, to grow, because once you learn something, your brain is not able to go back to the form in which it started. So it's just continuously expands. You gain more knowledge, you gain more understanding of things, thus having less anger. The more we understand things, the less time we have to be angry about things. So I love peace. I do. I really do love peace, man. And I prefer a peaceful environment. Don't get me wrong, I can tolerate some environments that have noise and chaos, like football games, sporting events in general. Some parts of work. So being around family, being around, your blood family and also the family that you chose outside of, your blood family. There can be some moments of like intensity and all that stuff, but it's in doses, moderation. However, there's nothing like that peace, like the peace of your own home, creating a space in your home that just brings you peace. Like, let's say you live with a family, you got a whole family, but you find a space that no one can get to. And whether it be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you just sit there and just take in silence. Or not silence, just nobody being in the room with you. Similar to like Claire, how she created her space. Cliff built her space in the house where she could just go and kind of just drift away, which I thought was pretty cool. I have a few spaces that I like to go to in my own home. I mean, this is one, the studio. The studio here is peaceful, especially when recording. And then the backyard. I'm working at the backyard too, and creating that to be as a more place of zen. But yeah, you can have it. You can have it, man. I tell myself I have to check the ego a few times. I have to have some ego deaths, but yeah, you can have it. I'd rather have peace. I enjoy peace. I want to live in the present moment. I don't want to live in the future and with anxiety or the past with depression. I'd rather live in the present moment because there's nothing like it. At some point in time, me talking right now in the present moment is going to be the past. And I'll think about what I did and ask myself, did I do the best thing I could do in that moment? Could I have done something better? And the answer is more than likely going to be yes. So there's room for improvement. But yeah, I mean, I value peace. I value peace in the people that I talk to. I value peace. Hell, I value peace at work. So I do my best to try to be calm as much as I can. Engaging with people that you love and value. I can take some chaos. I won't say a lot, but some chaos, as long as you're not draining me and trying to pull me down with you. Now, if you're venting, by all means, I'm with it. I can deal with it. I can understand that. You just want to be heard. But if you want to make your problems my problems, like you want me to solve them, then no. That's invading on my peace. And peace must be protected at all times. So, yeah, I certainly value peace. More importantly, I value you watching this episode. All the episodes. Anyone that has followed from the beginning and seen the different changes, There's more to come. Certainly is. There's more to come. But for now, we sign off. I'm out. Good night, kids.